Good evening, parents. Welcome to our session, Coping with Tiredness. My name is Izabela Dobrowolska, and I am one of the NLP for Kids practitioners. We deliver sessions and workshops to young people, children, and parents across UK, but also abroad. I work with NLP for Kids for the past 3 years, and prior to that, I worked within an apprenticeship as a coach. So I worked with young people, but also I delivered training and learning and development within global companies, mainly for students and young recruits, so people who just maybe graduate and were entering employment. So that's my background. But for the past 3 years, I work with younger people, with children and families mainly. We now deliver sessions online, so we use technology to work and support families throughout this challenging time. And as a part of our charity, Superheroes, we're delivering these sessions to you. I do apologize, almost losing my voice. We're delivering those sessions to parents, and mainly single parents, for free, so anyone can attend them and watch them later. So if you are one of the parents who attended the original session on the 10th of February, so last night, I do apologize. This is a separate recording. For some technical reason, the session last night did not record, so I am actually now talking to myself, or in fact to my laptop, and will be sharing with you everything that I've mentioned last night. I am a mom, so I will be sharing with you not only my professional experience and from my work with families, I also deliver sessions and workshops within schools. But as I mentioned, I am a mom of 2 children, 9-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. So I do have some of the challenges that you are facing. Some of them might be different. I am not a single parent, so I will not be speaking from my personal experience on that background, but I do get tired as well, and probably many of us at some point. What I would like to start today's sessions with is a quote that I found when I was doing a research and preparing for this workshop. And I think it summarized nicely what it is to be a single parent. Being a single parent is twice the work, twice the stress, and twice the tears, but also twice the hugs, twice the love, and twice the pride. And on that note, I would like to just go back to the topic and talk about tiredness. We do have a lot of new challenges, and we're facing new circumstances. And most of the parents and carers, also teachers, really have to adjust and adapt and juggle many different tasks. So tiredness is probably something that is quite familiar for many of us. And if you are here, or if you are listening to this recording later on, this might be a topic that is interesting for you. So I do hope that you will find something beneficial for yourself. What I would like to start with is maybe how you can recognize the burnout as a single parent, or as a parent who maybe is working from home and coping with the homeschooling, or maybe your partner is working away, is been deployed, and or maybe he's a doctor or a teacher who's constantly at work, and you almost acting as a single parent. The first symptom of exhaustion, I think, from my personal perspective, is the struggle to sleep. And we most of the time feel like we want to have a nap, and maybe you feel like you are falling asleep standing or cooking or preparing something, and you are so tired that the only thing you've got in your mind is to go to bed. But once that happens, your kids are snuggled up, and you finally put your head on a pillow, you can't fall asleep. And the reason behind it is that when the house goes quiet and we have that moment when we're supposed to be drifting off to a relaxing sleep, this is when our brain clicks in and starts working so fast, and we're processing everything that happened or didn't happen during that day, or we're thinking about the next day. We start planning what else we need to do, how many things need to be done, what haven't been maybe completed, or something that there is an additional responsibility or a task or something else, and how we need to prepare. So we overstress, we are anxious about the following day, and that is causing the stress and anxiety, and it makes us more tired, and we can't sleep. And even if we do fall asleep eventually, sometimes we only catch the few hours sleep, and then we wide awake again, or we keep waking up and falling asleep and waking up and falling asleep. So that's one of the symptoms that your body, your brain is burned out, is overworked, and you struggling, and you might need to look into that a little bit closer. Another signal for that kind of exhaustion of your brain and your body will be what I call a short fuse. So being quite easily irritated, or everything is setting you off, you walking around really grumpy, and you might be shouting at your kids or anyone who you're speaking to, and you feel that anything, the little things will set you off, and you're going to explode, and you reacting not really the way that you would like to. Maybe you yelling, shouting, and not really being yourself. Another symptom I think that comes to my mind, it will be lack of productivity. Productivity is something that when you're a single parent especially, but I think most parents at home with children at home right now and maybe working from home will need clear mind to be productive. And when we have so many different tasks to put into just 10, 12 or 14 hours of a day, sometimes we walk around and do not complete specific tasks. So for example, when I feel really tired and I get to the point that I am really on the edge and almost at the end of any levels of my energy, I will, for example, start preparing a dinner or a lunch for my kids, for my family, and then halfway through that task, maybe cutting the carrots, I will then remember my laundry. So I will unload the laundry, and halfway through that task, my kids will call, or something will spill out. I will go and clean the mess, and then lunch isn't finished. I haven't completed cutting those carrots, and then the laundry is just halfway through being done, and I'm dealing with something else. And that's not being productive, because none of the tasks is actually completed, but my brain is working so quickly and thinking about what's next, what else I need to do, that I'm rushing and hurrying to start something else, or something else just come to my mind and I'm going to do it before I forget. That's not productive. And many of you probably know what I'm talking about. Having no interest. I sometimes notice that when I get so tired, I can't really focus on anything, but nothing also attracts my attention, and I don't feel interested in any books, any movies. I might not be even paying attention to how much homework my children have completed, or whether we're going for a walk. So that's one of the other symptoms of being burned out, when nothing really interests you, to the point that you feel like, whatever, I really don't have any more energy. I am so tired that I frankly don't care about anything else. I just want to go to sleep. That is being run down, and your body, your brain, they are in total synchronicity on that, and you have to take care of your body, and you have to take care of your mind. What we do very often, and that's only adding on to the anxiety and adding on to a tiredness, we are really tough on ourselves. So we're trying to be a perfect parent. We're trying to have a clean house, full fridge and cupboards, and always stock up for healthy and nutritious meals for our family. But then when all these carrots are not completed, so halfway done lunch and then the laundry and then something else, we beat ourselves up. We're being tough on ourselves as a parents, and then the guilt kicks in, and we feel like we are not delivering, we're not doing a good job, we are not good parents, and that is increasing the tiredness. That is just adding up to our burnout, and it's not helping. So what I would like to do now, just briefly go to the NHS advice for coping with tiredness, and what NHS is recommending. They have put it meals, so eating often in smaller portion. And based on my own experience, mainly from the pregnancy, when I literally had to carry with me a banana or an apple or like nutrition bar just to have a snack in between the meals, that definitely worked. And to be honest, it still works. And I know when sometimes I am so busy and rushing and doing so many different things, it's difficult to prepare those meals and have those structure every 3 to 4 hours, but it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It could be literally a banana and an apple, or a little pastry or something, a sandwich, really something simple and small. And I tell you why, because when I sit down after a whole day not eating properly, and I sit down in the evening to a nice, delicious dinner, I end up overeating, or I am rushing because I am so hungry. So my body is craving the food, and then I don't eat slowly enough for my brain to register when I'm full. I overeat, and then after a massive meal like that, I feel really lethargic and stodgy, and my energy is gone completely. So instead of being productive and trying to maybe use the last few minutes or an hour of the evening to complete something, I am almost falling asleep at the table. And usually after dinner, I put my kids to bed. If I do that, I end up falling asleep on a beanbag while reading them a bedtime story or a night story. Sorry. So I think it is important. There is something to that. Eating small and often, and what they also recommend, not to eat too late. So try to keep it, set a specific time at night after what you're not going to eat again. Keep moving, so being fit, being active, and NHS is recommending 2.5 hours of moderate intensity exercise, such as cycling or fast walking. They're saying 2.5 hours every week. Personally, if I don't go out or move around every single day, then I feel that my energy is going down. So I would say if you can fit in 25-30 minutes each day for some form of activity, ideally outside with fresh air, because we now know with all the scientific research and evidence that we need the oxygen for our brain to function. That helps your mental health and helps your physical health. So if you can, ideally take a walk, go for a jog or cycle with your kids, or if you can by yourself. They also on NHS website talk about losing weight. Definitely being overweight, it can be tiring for our body and depleting the energy. But I think it really depends more on how active you are. So I do know people who maybe are slightly overweight, but they have so much energy in them because their lifestyle and just naturally maybe they have more energy. The NHS also recommend, and I do as well, but I will talk about that a little bit more later, also to sleep well. And what NHS is recommending is between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and they suggesting that if you need to nap, try not to nap after 3 or 4 p.m. They also talk about reducing caffeine, so any sorts of caffeine, and that's again my personal experience. I put caffeine away when I was pregnant with my first child, and since then I don't take much. So I actually drink decaf coffee. I love coffee, so it's a decaf for me, and decaf tea. And I don't drink cola or any energy drinks. Sometimes I sneak in some chocolate. So watch the caffeine intake, and I think if you drastically drops, it can cause headaches. But what the science is now showing and telling us is that caffeine, on the contrary, making us more tired and is taking the energy out of your body. I know most of us feel in the morning like, oh my God, I can't wake up without a cup of coffee, so I really need my coffee. So try to start reducing that gradually. Don't drop it all right away, and observe how your body is reacting. And obviously alcohol. Alcohol is definitely dragging the energy out of us, and it also affects the way we sleep, and sometimes it makes more difficult to fall asleep if we're having a drink, especially when we are tired or when we are sad or upset or angry. Drinking alcohol is actually making us more tired and is increasing the fatigue for our body. So that's just briefly the recommendation of the NHS, how to deal with tiredness, with fatigue, and with burnout. I would like to share with you what I found through the research that I've prepared. And those are tips of mainly as single parents, but I think, again, they absolutely applicable to all of us. Because we all get tired and we all drive ourselves to the edge, and especially now we really trying to be superheroes. We're really trying to be a perfect parents and do too many things at a time. So what I find out is that knowing your stress triggers is one of the keys to help yourself deal with the mental fatigue, with physical fatigue, and finding out what's behind. So be a little bit curious about where is the burnout coming from. And some parents may say, the stress trigger is finance. So especially if you're a single parent, or maybe in the lockdown right now, you lost your income, or maybe the income dropped down drastically. So things like finance can be definitely triggers, stress triggers. There could be an issue with your ex-partner. There could be an issue with your child's behavior, or loads of other things. So just to look at it, what it is, what triggers those short fuses. So when you're exploding and you really easily set off what is behind, or what happens just the moment before you explode. Keeping a routine, and that's something that definitely helped me and most parents that I work with. But also looking at children, the routine is important. It is equally important for you to put proper routine for your children as it is for you, for yourself. And those routines can be tiny things. So I will share with you two routines that I have for myself and also for my children. For myself, I have a morning and evening routine. And what I do, I try to wake up before my kids wake up, just to have some time for myself in a quiet house when no one is interrupting. I always wake up and do meditation. So 10 or 15 minutes meditation, then I will do yoga. I also do some mantra chanting, or will listen to it, and I will finish my morning routine with a cold shower. And then I will wake up my kids, they will do their routine. So I try to encourage them to also do some yoga in the morning, just to wake their body properly and stretch the muscles after a night's sleep. They will have their breakfast and go to do some work, or sometimes they just watch BBC Bite Size or some educational programs. If I can't sit with them and help them with their homework, in the past, I was very much against technology and very much about reducing the time, screen time and TV. But I think now I'm no longer feeling guilty about that. At the beginning of this lockdown, so March last year, April last year, I did feel bad and guilty about putting them in front of TV or giving them something to watch. But not anymore. Sometimes I just have to switch on the TV in order for even being able to reply to emails or pick up the phone, or do anything in the house, to clean the house, to cook, or I don't know, I don't iron anymore, but anything that we have to do at home, that we just need to do it without interruptions. So after that, we go for a walk. So our lunchtime is usually going, we've got a puppy, so we take the dog for a walk and spend as much time as possible in the park. Usually it's about 1.5 to 2 hours. And then we come back and complete all the work. So I will maybe sit down and do some emails, and kids will complete their online learning. And then we have dinner together. So I try to have at least one meal. Usually we eat together, now being at home, most of the meals. But in general, it is important for me, and I think that's how I was raised, but it's also how important it is for me to build that into my kids' routine, and spending time together. So our dinner time is sharing time, and we would switch off all the TV, all the background noises, any radio or music or anything like that, and just spend that time talking about our day, what went well, what didn't go so well, what can we do better. We talk about the kids' work, how they can improve something. We talk about our days, what happened, or maybe what we're planning for the next day. And that's a sort of way to relieve the stuff from your mind and speak out, speak it, talk aloud and listen to yourself. So when you say things out loud and then hear yourself, sometimes it feels like a relief. And I know that talking to your children, and you're not, especially if you're a single parent, you can't share many things with them, but I'm sure there is something within the day that you can talk to them and share with them, and ideally not telling them off, saying, oh, I asked you to do this and you haven't, or you were supposed to tidy up your room, or because that's again increasing your stress level and making you more exhausted. When we stress and we angry and we're shouting out, or we really tense our bodies like that, then we letting the energy out, and that makes us more tired. And that leads to the evening routine. And then evening routine for me, it's also important. And I try to blend some time with the family, but also put sometimes some time for myself in the evening. And after dinner, the kids will go and get themselves ready and wash and prepare for bed. I will read them a book, and I love reading books with them. We do book club sometimes, so that's in the afternoon before dinner. We will sit down together and I will read my book and they will read something of their choice for about half an hour, and then we're sharing with each other again what we read about. And again, I know it's not always possible, and even in my house, it's not every single day, but I try to do it as much as possible. For a selfish reason, I missed my book, and I used to read books in the evenings, but now I am so tired that by the time I crawl into my bed, I feel like after the first page, I have to read again because I don't remember, or I just don't understand what I was just reading about, or I simply fall asleep because I am so tired. So I change slightly the routine, and now if I can, I will put some time in the late afternoon for reading books, and then in the evening I will read the book to my children, book of their choice, and once they fall asleep, and sometimes when I have evenings when I have to work delivering workshops or doing some recordings, then I will put a meditation or like a bedtime story or audiobook for them, so that gives me a time to do something else. After they gone to sleep, I will have again my own time, and that's also so important. Try to, if you can, ignore the mess, or do the laundry next day, and take that time in the evening to prepare yourself for a good sleep. And this is equally or even more important than your morning routine, because I believe and the neuroscience is confirming that lately, that again, we don't have to sleep 8 or 9 hours every night. For me personally, 6 hours is just perfect, because it is about quality of a sleep rather than the quantity. So making sure that you get a good night's sleep and that you have deep sleep when you're getting a proper rest is probably going to be more beneficial than sleeping for 8 or 9 or 10 hours and keep waking up and going back to sleep and waking up. So preparing your brain, your body for that deep resting sleep is very important. And your brain can't just switch off. When we're operating on the specific levels of our brain waves, are working at a specific rhythm during the day, you can't just switch them off to go to sleep. You have to gradually slow them down. And in order to do that, you have to find your routine. What helps me is a nice relaxing bath, maybe with the candles, or listening to some quiet, relaxing music, putting on some meditation in the evening. What I also love doing is my gratitude journal. So I will write down what I am grateful for from that day. And I do that in the evening because, again, it helps me unload my mind. It helps me put what was here onto a paper and write down everything that I achieved and I am grateful for what happened, because that's increasing the happy hormones. It keeps the level up higher, and it helps me relax, helps me feel better about myself. So those are the routines that I implemented and created them with my family, with my children. And again, not every single day it works the way I wished, and not every single day is perfect. But if something goes wrong, I just pick up where I left off and I try again next day. If me or my kids have a worse day and we just can't keep everything up to a schedule, and one or two of the routines will go through the window, I will just go and try again next day. Or maybe you just need a tiny slight adjustment. So there might be something that you have to, or you can tweak to make it work better. Just keep trying, don't give up, and keep modifying if you have to. What else we can do? Obviously, the sleep priority of this, to prioritize the sleep. And sometimes I feel like I need a nap during the day. And I am still not very good with doing that, because I have somewhere here at the back of my mind something or someone whispering to my other part of the brain, that's a waste of time. You've got so much to do. You can do so many things. Wait until nighttime and then go to sleep. But actually, again, a science proved that 15-20 minutes nap during the day can do miracles to your brain, your body, your productivity, your creativity. So if you're working from home and sometimes you need time to be creative, to maybe write posts or promote your business, or in any way improve your business, then you definitely can benefit with a short nap during the day. If you have very little children, babies, take a nap when they sleep. If they're still napping during the day, instead of cleaning, washing, or doing any other things, just try to get some sleep. If your kids are older, honestly, BBC have a really great programs for the kids. And if you just put your head next to them on a pillow and catch a 20-minute nap while they're watching something, no drama. And your brain, your body will be grateful. With teenagers, it's easier. So obviously they will keep themselves busy and you can try to catch up on some sleep. So definitely prioritize the rest and observe and pay attention to your own body and the reactions, and try to spot those symptoms that I've mentioned at the beginning, to recognize that this is the time to self-care. This is a time to be nicer to yourself. And what we do often, we're very, very hard on ourselves. So we will criticize ourselves, and we will compare ourselves to others, and maybe other families are doing better, and how they manage to always put those nice, lovely pictures on their Instagram, and how come they have time to go for a walk or maybe do some other lovely things, when I barely can catch up with what I have on my list. But be kind to yourself, because remember, those pictures, those are just minutes, seconds, a quick capture, and we don't know what is happening for the other person outside of that moment. So don't be don't be too harsh, too tough with yourself. Just be a little bit more kinder, and allow yourself not to be perfect, and give yourself a time. Avoid multitasking. So multitasking is something that caused me a burnout. And again, I will refer back to the science. We now know that our brain isn't really able to multitask and focus on too many things. productively. So even if we're trying to do a few things at a time, you end up with what I've described earlier, half done lunch or undone, laundry only partially completed, and something else and something else, and you just walk around the house and have tiny tasks that have been started but not done, not completed, not finished. So multitasking causes the burnout and add on to our stress and anxieties. So try to avoid multitasking and schedule your days, plan your days. There is loads of different, tools apart from this, with the calendar, reminders, and everything. I think I work with my phone during the working hours, but I try to put away and leave my phone every time I go to the park, or maybe when we're having a book club, or when we're having a book time or our evening time with the dinner. So I also use like a big family calendar in the kitchen, where I put the most important things that I need to remember for each day. I have sticky notes that are in kids' room to remind them about specific tasks or things that they need to do each day. Just use what you can and what works for you. Every family, every environment is different. Keep testing and use what works. Plan ahead things like shopping. I would do a massive online shopping once a month, where I order in bulks, those big 10-kilo bags of rice or big bags of potatoes, the laundry detergents or dishwasher tablets, or like tins of chopped tomatoes, and things that just have a longer duration and you can keep them for a month or even more. So that's also something to think about, because then you don't have to do that every week or maybe every other day. You can just do it once a month. And I just go to a corner shop quickly, or to pick up a bread or milk, or even nut, because now I've got milkmen delivering milk and eggs every other day to my doorstep. So think about how you can save some time and maybe earn that well-deserved time for a rest or a nap or a book, anything that will help you relax and rest. What else? Planning your budget. So I think that's something that will help you if finances are difficult now. Planning your budget ahead, it will help you not only reduce the time, but also with the stress and anxiety, it will hopefully lower it down a little bit more, because you will know what to expect, like with the routine, when children know what comes after. If you plan your bills and map them up in your calendars, or set them up on your reminders for what kind of payments need to come off, it will then help you reducing the level of stress. Taking care of your health by doing the exercises. If you, obviously we don't have gyms. I love swimming, and I think that's something that I miss so much. So I am really waiting with anticipation when the swimming pools reopen. But I try to do something else. So as I said, I wake up early before the rest of the house wakes up, and I do my yoga. That helps me with my mental health, physical health. That helps me with the fatigue, because stretching my body and building and waking it up in a proper way, waking that energy that's flowing inside of my body. You know that we have 80% of the body is water, so we need to kind of shake it a bit to wake it up properly. It helps me build the energy for the day, but also the fresh air. So that's why in the middle of the day, I try to go for a walk and take my kids and just get some fresh air. You can, even do walk back and around your living room if you have to. There is a lot of online fitness clubs, online clubs for mums, for parents, when you can do step class or some dance class. You can do that in the morning or in the evening or during the day with your kids. Just I remember using something. What was the application? I can't remember exactly the name of the app, but the app had a kind of funky groove, body groove. That was the app. Funky, groovy kind of music when there was no specific steps. You just move your body to the rhythm, whichever way you want to. And me and the kids have so much fun when we put that on. Any time of the day. So for them is a physical activity. For me, for my body and for my brain, and on top of that, the music is so relaxing. So remember to keep some music in your house. Switch off the TV, switch off those negative news and all these bad vibes that keeps coming from outside and all sources. Just choose your favorite music and have some fun. And I think fun is also something that we parents are forgetting because we are so focus on being responsible, being sensible, making sure that everything is done that needed to be done. We're trying to be so perfect like everyone else, and like maybe books or TV shows are telling us, but we're forgetting to have fun. And after a while, it just becomes so unnatural that it's difficult to go back and have some fun. So allow yourself to enjoy, to laugh out loud, to just cuddle up with your kids. That could be a time, fun time for you and relaxing time. So remember to enjoy life and find the time for a bit of joy and fun during the day. What else? Self-care priority, of course. But what I think is also important to learn to say no, because that's something that as parents we also often forgetting. We forgetting to take care of ourselves to the point that we come first. We always so kind and nice to others. We want to help our best friend. We want to support someone, maybe a family member or a neighbor. When they come and knock on the door and ask for a favor, we always there, and we want to be nice and kind to everyone else, and we dedicate our entire day and time and hours within the day to our children or someone else, maybe our work, our boss, or a team. We forgetting that we are entitled to say no. Say no and learn to either escalate or just, say, I can't do it. I'm already full. I'm already overloaded. I can't take any more. And whether to say that to your kids or your boss, just be open and self-care. Take care of yourself. It's like with that mask on a plane, when they're doing a demo just before you take off, and they always tell you to put the gas mask on yourself first before you put one on your child. Why? Because when you pass out, you won't be able to help your child. And this is exactly the same case. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be a little bit selfish, and your well-being is equally or even more important in that instance, because you need to be well to make sure your kids are well and to make sure that your family is working and that your family is taken care of. So take care of yourself first and learn to say no. Guilt. Wow, we have another whole session on guilt, so go back into our recordings if you want to listen to that. But guilt is something that I know quite well as a parent, but also in the past as an employee. I always felt guilty when I didn't deliver something on time, or I was coming too close to a deadline, or if I missed the deadline, the guilt was massive. But now as a parent, I think I come through that feeling more often. And children sometimes know how to use that, so they will be cheeky and manipulate our feelings of guilt, and will say things like, "Oh, you are the worst mom ever," or "You don't love me," or "You don't care about me because you don't want me to watch something," or "You don't want to give me another chocolate bar," or something. Or "You never do something with me like Sophie's mom is doing." They really know which button to push, and we need to be aware of that. That's first point, to be aware of that and do not allow them to push it too hard. But if you do get to the stage that you feel guilty, don't ignore that feeling. I think we too often trying to get rid of those negative feelings, suppress them, or ignore them, or maybe get rid of them too quickly. Again, be curious about it and try to see what is behind it, and where that guilt comes from, and what can you do, whether there was something you could have done differently in the past, or maybe you can improve in the future. Give yourself a time, just process that, go through a different stages, and allow yourself to feel guilt, or even if there is an anger or frustration. Those are also feelings that we need to acknowledge, be aware of, and learn how to deal with. But we need to give ourselves a time, not to try to suppress them, because they will build up and there will be more and more and more adding up, the layers adding on top of it. And it's going to be more difficult. And again, that's causing the burnout and tiredness. So try to be brave. And when I say brave, there is something else that comes to my mind. Asking for help is being brave. And that's something that I've learned as a parent as well. Because at the beginning, I wanted to be so good, so perfect. I wanted to prove it to myself, but maybe the entire world, that I am really a good parent and I'm good at what I'm doing. And I will not ask for help, even if things are falling apart, and because I don't want anyone else to know. It didn't serve me well. With the second child, I gave up on that attitude because I needed to ask for help. I'm fortunate to have a partner, and at that time I also have had my mom here. So I asked when I needed to, when I just needed a nap because I didn't sleep at night, breastfeeding and all that. I would say, "Can you just take them for a walk so I can sleep in a quiet house?" Sometimes I just had to ask someone else in the extended family to come and take kids for a few hours because I had to do something, or I simply have to work. I also offer my help to friends when I know they are maybe a single parent, or maybe they do have both a lot of work to do, and they could benefit with a bit of a break or a quiet house. Ask for help, even if it is just picking up something in the store for you and dropping at the door, or organizing something online, or ordering something online for you, or maybe I don't know, just taking kids to the park so you can have a 20 minutes nap. ask for help. That's a courage, that's a bravery. And I think when we learn to do that, that makes a massive difference. And I know it's not always easy. And I remember when I was doing research for this show, I came across a letter of one of a single mom's, and she said that sometimes asking for help during the day is so difficult because it's almost an additional task. And she mentioned that she have to remember which member of her family is, available that day. So she not only need to remember her schedule and her kids' schedule, but also friends and family schedule to be even able to ask someone for help. And sometimes she feels guilty about that because she feels trapped, that she has no choice and has to ask in order to maybe keep earning and keep working from home. But then she doesn't want to become a burden to someone and maybe keep asking it too often. So she has to rotate people that she asks for help. I know it's not easy, but honestly, we all do need help from time to time. And especially when you start recognizing those symptoms that you at the end of your batteries, that you're on the edge and you are going to explode and your patience is, running out. Ask for help and give yourself a time. That's being kind to yourself. That's doing that self-care properly, because you're putting that mask on yourself first to be able to help your kids later. And they're going to learn by observing you doing that during that difficult times. They will also learn that this is okay. So they will more easily approach you or anyone else, maybe a teacher or someone else in the school or later in their professional life when they start to start their first job. They will be okay with asking others for help, or maybe to show them how to do something again, instead of pretending that they know how to do it and then doing it wrong. So that's also a lesson for them, a life lesson, very valuable lesson, and they can benefit from that. There is something else. I obviously am aware that I'm talking already for quite a while, so I'm going to try to be very quick, and I will ask the office to follow this up with some emails, so those parents who attended the original session will also receive the links of those articles and the research that I've done. But what I want to put your attention on to is also the mental fatigue. So the tiredness of your mind, of your brain, not only your physical body. So with your physical body, taking enough exercise, fresh air, drinking plenty of water. I think I forgot to mention that water is something that you replace alcohol and caffeine. So instead of coffee in the morning and a glass of wine in the evening, try to drink more water during the day and you will see a massive difference. Your body will be grateful and will appreciate that. But apart from taking care of your physicality with sleep, with all that I've mentioned, there is also very important to take care of your mental health and to make sure to avoid a mental fatigue. And there is an article in Forbes. Let me just read the title. So if you don't receive the link, you can do your own research. Forbes, How to Overcome Mental Fatigue According to an Expert. And the contributor is Noma Nazish, if I pronounce it correctly. That's an article from 2018. And what the experts say is that decision making is something that's increasing our fatigue and our mental exhaustion, because we every single day have to make so many decisions that we just feel totally exhausted, tired, and really, really unproductive. And that's again, whether at work or in your personal life. And instead of making one big decision that will benefit us ahead, we sometimes keep thinking about the same tasks, and we have to make the same decisions over and over. And that's absolutely taxing. It's very, very difficult. Let me just quickly see here. Yes, decluttering. So decluttering your mind, your brain. Science says that clutter triggers the production of cortisol, so the stress of hormone. And decluttering, it could be just to declutter your physical space, and that helped me a lot. Just to clean my bedroom. I used to keep my studying books and articles and a pile of papers in my bedroom. And since I've removed them and replaced with the nice plants and candles, I sleep better and I feel so much more restful when I enter the bedroom. So create like your own tiny oasis that will also help you sleep better, and it will help your mind relax quicker and get yourself ready for that deep, relaxing sleep. Make sure there isn't too many books and papers and little things all over your space, a sleeping space. So, you know, it depends on the capacity of your house or flat. Try to move stuff into cupboards or a corner in your living room, but not in your bedroom. Keep your bedroom and your kids' bedroom as clear as possible. And a very important thing, to remove all electronics from your bedroom and read about the Blu-ray light and how the Wi-Fi signals affect your brain waves and how that impacts in a negative way the quality of your sleep. So today I won't be talking about that too much, but I'm sure you can find some data about that on the internet. So try to remove all electronic devices from the bedroom and declutter the space. But decluttering is also important for your brain, and that journaling that I've mentioned earlier, and having diaries or my calendar, but also physical calendars, it helps me declutter my brain, because like glass of water, there is a limit of specific amount of water that you can put in a glass. When you put too much, it overflows. And it's the same with your brain. Your brain have a specific capacity, and in order to create more space for new things next day, or in order for you to be able to rest and get a proper sleep at night, you need to declutter it. So maybe put that into your routine by end of the day. Tasks that haven't been completed and you need to do them another day, write them down instead of keeping them in your mind. Take that stuff out of here on the paper or into your phone, or maybe your laptop reminders or your Outlook or calendar or whatever you're using, or put a sticky notes, not in your bedroom though, but put them in your kitchen or a living room or a working space. Declutter your brain. Create a space. It's almost like taking the breath. And breathing is also something that is very important for tiredness and to help you relax, because the level of oxygen in your brain, once you're breathing deeper and increases the level of oxygen, then you're able to relax quicker and get more rest, and you're less anxious and stressed. So mindfulness is something that I'm absolutely passionate about, and I highly recommend the Thich Nhat Hanh books about mindfulness and silence, and how important that is to build into our daily routine. And it doesn't have to be a total form of meditation. If you don't have time to sit down for 20 minutes or 40 minutes to meditate, try to find those meditative states of mind within your daily tasks. So for me, ironing, for example, is quite relaxing, or having a shower. I would listen to a mantra while I'm in the shower, and that relaxes me. Or I will listen to some soothing music while I'm having a nice bath in the evening. Going for a walk, that's a form of meditation and a walking mindfulness practice. You can have a podcast or audiobooks while you do that. So you're learning something, or maybe listening to your favorite book, and you're getting that mindful state of mind. But I remember Thich Nhat Hanh was also talking about simple tasks like washing dishes, just paying attention to how the liquid, the soap, the bubbles feel on your hands. How is the water touching your skin? Maybe paying attention to what's around you, just being present now in this moment is something that you can highly benefit and help yourself de-stress, and how you can cope with tiredness. I remember, I think Wayne Dyer mentioned in his podcast or books that we need to find those pauses, the little breaks that, and he compared that to music. He said that if there would be no break between the notes, a music wouldn't be a music. It would be just one annoying sound. The same in our breath. When we're inhaling, there is a pause before we exhale. So find those tiny breaks, those pauses in your life, in your schedule, and fill them in with something for yourself, something relaxing, like that moment of mindfulness, moment of paying attention to what is happening with your feelings and emotions, why that anxiety is kicking in, why the guilt and where that comes from. Be curious about it, be inquisitive, and apply what works. Test different techniques and see what happens, and what works for you. What works for me might not necessarily fit into your schedule, but just keep testing different techniques. Let me see what else is in Forbes here. Perfectionism. Wow, that's the big one for our tiredness, because we're constantly trying to be perfect. Perfect parent, perfect partners, perfect daughter, sister, or perfect employee, or a perfect boss, or a perfect manager. What they're saying that, like any extreme trait, perfectionism can be a double-edged sword. And I would agree, it's so difficult and so taxing to be perfect in everything. You might be perfect friend or a perfect mom, but you don't have to be all of it. You don't have to be a perfect employee and everything else. And sometimes not having this bedroom tidy up, or maybe dishes washed before you go to bed, it will help you out, because the next day you will do the dishes and something else if you just go to bed early, half an hour early maybe. So definitely try to observe that and don't overcommit, whether again your work level or tasks at home. Be realistic. I think that's also important, to be realistic about the goals that you set for yourself. I remember one of my mentors said to me, and that's something that I keep reminding myself: set yourself for success. And I tell children that very often when I work with them in schools, during our workshops. Set yourself for success. So take those tiny steps to achieve something, and every small achievement, give yourself a prize. I don't know, a nice I don't know, chocolate ice cream. For me, that's a nice treat, or that hot bath in the evening, or maybe go to bed earlier. Just reward yourself for those tiny small achievements, and then your happy hormones goes up, your body is grateful, your brain is grateful because you feel like you're achieving something. It's nicer to take few of those tiny small steps on your to-do list rather than keep waiting until you achieve the massive one. So try to set yourself achievable goals, small goals, and then reward yourself for completion of each of that. And Tao Te Ching, in his book, so that's one of the Eastern philosophers, say that a journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with the first step. So move step by step, but keep moving forward. And again, just be kind to yourself, and observe what works and how your body is reacting, how your mental health is, coping. Stay organized, keep those routine, be realistic about your goals and how much you can fit in. Don't over plan your daily schedule. Don't squeeze too much in that, because the quality of that is not going to be satisfying, or you might not be able to do half of it. Just few things, small things, and put things together maybe. So if you have to reply to emails, instead of having 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes later and an hour again, try to maybe batch them together and spend 1 hour replying to emails, and then don't go back to that task until next day. The same with ordering. So if you have that space in the house, do a big shopping so you don't have to go every other day to buy the same products. What else? I think I've said so much, but if you will have any questions, if you would like to follow this up, or would need any further information, please reach out to the office, speak to someone, and they will be able to give you my contact details as well, or another of our practitioners will be able to help you. But you're also welcome to post questions under the recording. I think on YouTube, so we will have this recording on our Superheroes channel on YouTube. You can post the questions and one of us will reply. But also every few days we have a Q&A session, so you're more than welcome to attend, and then they are also free for you to attend, and you can attend as many as you like. So maybe after listening to this session or our previous sessions, if there are any questions specific for your circumstances, for your challenges that you would like to ask, just drop into the session, book through the link, and then we will be more than happy to help. I think that's it for now. I don't want to overload you with too many informations. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time. Have a wonderful evening, or actually have a restful night.